I'm gonna try something different. Hey, it's Cu Sithe here. I see a lot of videos on YouTube that are gear reviews. Tons of those, but a lot less about inspiration, sources of why you wrote a song, workflows, that kind of thing. So I'd like to try and do see these now and then, where I look at some of the ways behind which I've created a song. Now, whether or not you like my music, whether you even like the genre of music, doesn't really matter. If you are stuck or looking for inspiration, you might find someone here that gives you a spark to go and make music that you do like, your music. And that's perfectly fine. That's what it's all about. I want to hopefully encourage musicians everywhere. Now, for myself, I did spend the last year or 2 years kind of uninspired and not making very much music, trying to get back into it. And let's just pick one of the songs I started with. It's one called Unity. Now, this is a single guitar note. What I decided to do was challenge myself. What could I do with this one note? I didn't want to put it into a sampler and then make it playable across the keyboard. I just wanted to have that one note as a sound source, and all I let myself use were various effects that I have. What could I come up with? Now, I am sort of working in a kind of ambient new age genre, so that does make it a little bit easier. Let's have a quick look at some of the ways I constructed it. So here we are in Cubase. We have this track with the original audio note. It is set to have no output from the track itself, and it has a compressor on it, and that's it. And then we send it out to a ton of different effect channels. So the first one is this one. Let's add that in and see what it sounds like. This is just a lot of delay. This is then a bunch of we have a look at this. It's two reverbs. I have the multi-turbo, M-turbo reverb, and the Valhalla vintage reverb. The chow mix is this odd randomizer delay. Then I have another M-turbo. I have a kind of flangey sound, which has just a ton of stuff on it. The crystals adds those high tinkly notes. It's done by running it through Absinthe. And then again, another M-turbo reverb. This too has very little output, but instead it gets fed through the autopan, which I have set up so that the crystals are moved from left to right in the stereo field. The other thing I do with this is I send it to the Make the Pulse. Let's just have that by itself. And this actually generated a whole rhythm, primarily from using the crystallizer. If I turn that off, we just get the note. But it then adds all these other notes. Bit of an EQ, again, another delay on it, and it too gets sent to various other effect outs. We have the autopan again doing the same thing, making it move around in the stereo field. And that was the core of what I did in Cubase. I also then used Pollack Stretch to create a few standalone stretched versions. Let's see, this one should play. Is it? Oh, it's set to 0. Okay, it goes to this one. So this is a breathy, whispery noise. and I have another WAV that was made by putting it through Paulic Stretch, and another one here, and these get fed through different. This one sounds more vocal, and these get fed through different effects channels too. Clearly, the great thing here is just to experiment, mess around, start connecting things together, go crazy, go wild. And then the track is made, of course, by turning things up and down. And now what's interesting is because of the way some of these work, I do have this. This is Isle Harmer. Well, it was originally Isle Harmer, but I actually changed it to Pigments. And I have the sound loaded in here too, under Engine 2. It's a single note. I don't actually use it as a keyboard to play things up and down. I just use it to trigger some sounds. And the great thing is it comes out slightly differently every time you play it. It's never necessarily identical. Yeah. So, I mean, the essence here is experimentation. You never know what you might turn up for yourself just by messing around. Set an artificial challenge. Decide how you want to tackle things. Let's just have one note. You're not allowed to play it up and down on the keyboard. All you can do is use effects, and then see what you can come up with. You never know. And of course, experimenting like this, it can be in any form. Doing something crazy, setting some crazy limitation, setting some wild effects that you just connect one into the other, into the other, into the other. Who knows what you might come up with. If you're bored, you don't even need a particular aim in mind. You don't need to hear the melody in your head. You don't need to know what you're aiming for. You can just dive in and see what you come out with. Now, having done that, being a guitarist, I like to have some sort of melody now and then to tracks. So I actually made a second version of this called Duality. It was the same same bed underlying layer as Unity, but I added some guitar melody and chords on top just to give it a bit more dynamism, a bit more mood, and I'm really pleased with the result. It was an odd way to go and construct a song, set an artificial challenge, see what you can do within it. Perhaps that will inspire you to get back into making music or to just make your next track. Thanks for watching.